I believe if you are a dream chaser, unfortunately, you are also going to have to chase down and conquer embarrassment. And today we're going to talk about 10 times that we had to do that. And honestly, it sucked pretty bad.
Yeah, there is no version of you reaching the next level without failing forward and sometimes, quite frankly, embarrassing the hell out of yourself like I did on the last episode.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2084, our top 10, most embarrassing moments. So we're going to talk about the most embarrassing moments from the last 8 years of this journey, because here's the thought, and this is the thesis, and this is why we're talking about embarrassing moments. If you want to build momentum, it is really, really, really hard to build momentum without dealing with embarrassing stuff, because if you're taking messy action, you're often failing, and you're often failing publicly. And one of the things that is going to come with that is embarrassment, and then the ability to dust yourself off and get back on the mission.
You and I came up with this episode because on the last episode, not only did I butcher my favorite verse of all time,
as did I,
the one and only Marshall Mathers, Airplanes Part 2 featuring Eminem, but also we announced the 10 pounds in 10 week challenge that we do annually now for the Next Level Fitness Accountability Group. And I put the wrong date.
Yeah.
I put today's date for the end date. And it was in there and some people called me out on it, I think. And I just had that moment of, Kev, I was rolling forward this morning. I had a great workout. I was like, let's do this now. Let's rock and roll momentum. Fucked it up. So I put the wrong date in. And so the correct date, for those of you who are joining the 10 pound in 10 week challenge, by the way, the correct dates are
it's August
start
7th.
Date, May 29th, 2025. End date, August 7th, 2025. I have double and triple and quadruple checked. This is correct. 70 days, which is 10 weeks. 7 times 10.
Nice. My favorite one of these. Can I start?
Of course.
My favorite one of these. So we co-hosted an event in 2019, right? It was 2019.
Yes, sir.
And we co-hosted this event, and Alan got Brant Pinvidic there, and Britt Franks, and Mark Metry, and Tori Aletto, and Shauna Pelton, myself, and Alan. Am I missing anybody?
Yes. Joanna.
Oh, Joanna. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of Joanna because we pretty much did that whole event and we got no credit for it. It was a whole thing. Okay. So
I should have just said nope.
Yeah, you should have
You're
said
not
no.
missing anyone. There was 8 speakers. It was a full day event. It was a whole effing thing. And this was our second live event.
But this was like, no, this was the second, but this was the first like big one.
Yeah, it was big.
That we did.
We ended up having like 130 people there. We got some good photos from that one, but it was not looking good.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like 10 minutes from the start, and there was like 10 people in the audience, and there was like 200 seats. So it was obvious that this was not
250 seats.
Was it 250 seats? The reason we don't necessarily have a great relationship anymore with that person is because they kind of, I don't know. If you ever did a project with somebody in school and they took all the credit for you getting a good grade, it was kind of that. That's what it felt like, at least. So,
yeah, they just came in and started putting their signs up.
Yeah,
even though we did 99% of the work.
Yeah, unfortunately. But lessons learned. That's why we don't partner with anybody anymore. Makes sense. All right. So it was a full day event. After, we always do a dinner. And by always do a dinner, I mean that was the first time we'd ever done one, because it was like, this is what you're supposed to do, I think. You treat everybody to a dinner, all the volunteers, the NLU team, Taryn,
speakers.
Was Emilia? Emilia was there, I think.
Emilia was there, yep. We did a dinner in 2018 when we co-hosted Your World Within Live. So we did a dinner then too. But
wasn't this before?
No, I don't think so. I think Your World Within Live was first. Then it was, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either. Well, whatever.
Yeah, Your World Within Live was 2019.
This was
and
2020?
then Top Notch Live was 2020. It was early 2020.
Well, F everything I said, ignore everything. You don't need to know the dates. They don't even matter. We were having a dinner. And we were having a dinner at 110 Grill, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Great spot.
A great spot. Great food. Great food. But there's like 15 of us. So
and it's not a cheap restaurant.
It's not a cheap restaurant. So at one point, Alan gets up to go to the bathroom. excuse me. I have to excuse myself. I also have to use the bathroom. And we are in the bathroom peeing next to each other. And I said, hey, man, between you and I don't know if we're going to be able to pay for this. I think the credit card is going to decline. I don't even know how we're going to pay for this.
Let's dip.
Yeah, like what the fuck are we supposed to do? Everybody's going to know we're frauds. And we were just in the bathroom dying of laughter / embarrassment because we had just quote unquote hosted a successful event. And here we are getting a bill for, I don't remember how much it was. It was like, I think it was like $600 or $700.
Well, because the venue, I actually had to get an investor for the venue.
Yeah.
And we promised them, so they invested $3,000. We promised them $4,000 back, which I did pay from one of my college friends. And
it's not because we made money from the event.
Well, the event, we had like 138 people there. I think that's the number that's coming off. But that includes speakers, that includes volunteers. So the room was semi-full, but we were going for 250. We really swung for the fences back then.
Well, that was one of the most embarrassing, I would say that was one of the most embarrassing moments of all time, just because it was like you and I just feeling nobody can know that we don't have any money. And I genuinely don't know how we're going to pay. I'm not sure how we're going to pay for this freaking dinner that everybody's thoroughly enjoying. It was
a rock star event too. So everyone, you got to figure everyone thinks that we're doing really, really, really well.
There's
a big difference between doing awesome in podcasting and doing awesome in business. We started doing awesome in business way later. We were doing very well in podcasting and social media.
Yes, not business though.
So that's 1 of 10, and because we have time constraints here, we got 28 minutes. We're going to get through all of these, and there's a lot of them. Our top 10 most embarrassing moments. So your favorite one you just shared, so let me check that one off here.
Nice. Alan has a list. That's how serious we are today.
You know it. Bathroom credit card. Check. All right. So which one is my favorite on here? Okay. My favorite is the walk of shame. So Kevin and I call this the walk of shame. We had the opportunity to go to Milwaukee and speak at one of the largest schools in Milwaukee, high schools. This is a high school that had both middle school and high school in it. This is a large school. And it was one of my favorite experiences of all time, still to date, because of what we learned from it, even though it was atrociously bad. So the idea was we're going to go there. We're going to speak to the 7th and 8th graders first. There's like 300 of them. Then we're going to speak to the 9th and 10th graders. Then we're going to speak to the 11th and 12th graders, the juniors and seniors. And then I'm going to train the educators. There's a training at the end where all of the teachers and staff are going to get together, and I'm going to train them on effective communication. Oh, man. So anyways, the assembly's coming in. They had a full system. It was good. This was a moment for Kevin and I where we looked at each other and went, this was a dream at one point.
For sure. 100%.
And it was a big assembly. And it's just one of those moments of, see, it can happen. Little did we know later that afternoon we'd feel terrible about ourselves. But the first one went awesome. It was on growth, perseverance, and thinking long term or something like that for kids. And the first one went pretty well. The 7th and 8th graders were pretty open. I thought you and I could have done better. So we'll do green, yellow, red to make it simple. I think our performance was yellow, but it was received green. Then we had the back room. Shout out to a community member named Bobby Joe. She set us up. She got us all our snacks and everything. It was awesome. And so we go into the back room and I'm like, Kev, what'd you think? Like, what can we get better? Every conversation you have with me is basically, how the fuck do we get better? Almost always. And Kev's like, okay, we could have done better, but it's a good start, right? We got 3 more to go today. Let's rock and roll. I was like, okay, agreed. What are you going to do better? What am I going to do better? Hey, say this, do this, boom, boom, boom. We go to the next one. I think our performance got better, but it was received worse. This is when my brain broke. Kevin and I spoke way better the second time, and it was received a little worse. So the first time, our performance was yellow, and it was received green. The second time, our performance was green for sure, and the receive was yellow. Third speech. Juniors and seniors roll in. It's an assembly, and their inner thoughts, I know now, are, who are these 2 chung guy?
Yeah, try hard.
Trying to teach us personal development and perseverance and growth mindset. So we go in the back room and I'm freaking out. I'm like, Kev, what's the deal, man? Like, we did a way better job. That was a really strong speech. Why was it received worse? Didn't understand yet. Third speech happens. Best performance. I mean, we perfected the hell out of it. When you do 1, 2, 3 back to back, you can really perfect it. I mean, can, and it was terrible. It was, so our performance was super green and it was received red. We might as well been made fun of. If they had fruit, they would have thrown it at us for sure. And that's when I realized, and this is one of the most powerful lessons I've ever learned.
By the way, Alan hasn't even gotten to the embarrassing part yet. These aren't even the embarrassing parts.
100%. The development of the ego. That was, because we got backstage and I was broken. My brain was broken. It's like, what the hell just happened?
See, I felt really good. I was like, hell yeah. Survived.
Interesting. I survived. That's Kevin's goal. Survive. Mm-hmm. Mine is to teach these kids something they've never heard before, to change their fucking life. Anyways, now I realize. Backstage, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Oh, juniors and seniors have huge fucking egos. And if you study the neuroscience, you get more and more and more closed-minded as you age. And then you open back up when life humbles you. So everyone remember yourself when you were a junior or a senior. Now imagine me trying to teach you personal development. You're going to make fun of me. I didn't understand. We also were introduced wrong. It was a whole thing. Now here's the deal, and I'm going to make this point land too, because I know this isn't the point of this episode, but I need to. Adults have huge egos. The training was even worse. This was one of my favorite memories I've ever had because it taught me something I'll never forget. 7th and 8th graders were pretty open-minded to growth mindset and personal development. 9th and 10th, a little more closed-minded. 11th and 12th, a little more closed-minded. The staff, fucking get it. I could not get through no matter what. It is what it is. And I understand why. I look young. I also wasn't as assertive back then. I also was kind of a social coward. And it was pillars in the middle.
I was going to say.
People were eating. I mean, it was the ultimate failure setup.
The performance was also dog shit.
Yeah.
So while they were not super receptive to value, there was very little value being delivered contextually.
I think the 25 impact points of effective communication are world class.
I agree. I just think the performance of it was less than world class.
It was basically me just going through only point after point after point after point.
Fucking
the principal
brutal.
Afterwards was like, next time, can you just pick the top 5? So now we understand. But dude, for me, I thought this was a training. I'm talking Navy SEALs. Get your fucking shit together, sit down and take notes. Like, let's do this. But that's what I would want. And it turns out none of them want to be world-class communicators, right? So, and by the way, these 25 impact points, I rate myself from 0 to 10 on all of them week after week. Not every week, but they're really good. If anyone wants them, reach out. They're really, really, really strong. I mean, if you want to be an excellent communicator and do way better than I did that day, this is the way you do it. So anyways, no one could hear me in the back. There were these huge brick pillars. There was
literally a point where
system.
Alan was like, can everybody hear me? And a bunch of people in the back were like, no. I was like, they can't hear you, man. You gotta yell louder.
I said, all right, we're good. Just hammered it.
Let's just hammer it.
And then after the speech, the training bombed. And they were all eating too, so they're all distracted.
Yeah, just imagine somebody
it's
getting
not easy to capture a room when people are eating and it's set up wrong. And
they're getting their potato salad, walking by to get their potato salad.
Exactly. And then we had to walk through the walk of shame. So that's the most embarrassing one on this list probably, is the walk of shame, walking through the crowd.
God.
After that training. And now I do realize too, and again, I'm not trying to be mean, but I've spoken at a lot of high schools and colleges at this stage. Personal development, and I actually coach someone who's an AP Calc teacher. Personal development is actually not that common in school systems.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Why you say of course? Like, it makes no sense to me.
I understand.
Why wouldn't we teach personal development in school? It makes no sense.
It's not sexy. You got to have somebody that brings in zoo animals and snakes and shit.
Dude,
that's the way you want to get the attention.
In a fucking boa
bring a boa, and I guarantee you'll get something to land. Okay. It was fucking terrible. I mean, Alan, I don't even think you did it justice it was fucking terrible. This experience, Just imagine standing, nothing to hide behind, just exposed as hell. And I literally had a moment where I was like, I'm just going to let Alan flounder. I was in charge of the presentation for the students. Alan was in charge of the training. I had not even seen the training until the day of. When I saw it, I said, we're fucked. We're fucked. We are in trouble. We are in trouble. God,
I have a picture of me in front of that TV. It's a good looking photo.
Deer in the headlights.
We were dressed to impress, my friend.
Yeah, we didn't though.
At one point during the training, Kev was trying to slink so far into the desk.
God.
If he had camouflage, he would have just been part of
If
the
I
desk.
could have left, I would have. I'll see you in the back, man. It was brutal. Okay, that was probably the worst. One was terribly embarrassing privately, the credit card one. That was terribly embarrassing publicly. One of the other ones, it wasn't as embarrassing, but the first client I ever got as a podcast coach / producer, I think he paid us like $2,000 to launch his show and do the first 4 episodes and help him set up the equipment. I went to his house. And I was like, this won't be a problem. I've set this stuff up a bunch of times. I could not for the life of me figure out how to set it up. I ordered shit on Amazon. I was trying different outlets. I had to go back to his house like 5 times.
You bought an $80 power strip that you
I bought an $80 power strip.
It's a good looking power strip.
I think you have it.
Oh, I need to use it because that thing's great.
Yeah, I think you have it. I think it's in one of the boxes we took out of the studio. But I literally was like, this guy's going to know I don't know anything. Even though I knew I was 400 episodes in, like I knew a lot, but I was so embarrassed. It got to the point where he's like, yeah, I got to run, man. Can I just like leave you here and you can lock up? I was like, dude, honestly, that's probably what's for the best anyway, because I need to do some YouTubing to figure this out.
5 days.
That was super
5 trips and a bunch of Amazon orders for one
But look,
client.
If anybody ever says Kev says he's going to do it, he does it. I will come to your house if I have to. It's not ideal, but I will.
Like I said, Kev is the best in the world at getting something started. He can't scale a fucking thing.
God, it was brutal.
All right, so that's 3 down. We got a crank here. One of them is Snake. Laughed off stage. Oh yeah. So I've done 3 fitness competitions. My trophies are behind me. And the first one I thought I'd win, got 5th place. Second one I thought I'd lose, I got 1st place, and I won the overall, so I won the entire thing. And then the third one I thought I'd win again, and I got 4th place. The third one, I was in really good shape, but I wasn't lean enough. And I was coming off a W, and I didn't hire a posing coach that year. And so when you're on stage, for those of you who have never done a fitness competition, if you want to really show your abs, you basically have to breathe out fully.
Yeah.
And I was posing doing this. Someone in the audience was like, "Do you know that guy?"
I was there. I was with Alan, and the dude next to me was like, "What the fuck is that guy doing?" And I was like, honestly, dude, I don't know. I didn't say he was my buddy, but I was like, I don't fucking know what he's doing. It's not good. Whatever he's doing is not good.
And Matt was backstage with me. He was like, "Oh, you're in such trouble. So it's just damage control at this point." He's like, "How'd you think you did?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know. 4th. Not bad. Brought back a trophy. Let's rock and roll."
That was brutal.
I had a lot of muscle mass, but I wasn't lean enough, man.
Well, and I told you. You know, you can't be eating chicken, broccoli, Alfredo pizzas 2 weeks out from a fucking fitness show. It doesn't work. Unless you're on all the steroids.
It was delicious, though. Yeah, I was not.
Sure it was.
No steroids, fully natural. Okay, so that's Snake gone, done.
What else? What's the next one
here? Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. Laurie book.
Oh, we interviewed Laurie Harder for episode number 34. For those who don't know, she's very big in the self-improvement, personal development space. She was having a book signing / little bit of a Q&A speech in Boston. So we went, and it was me, Alan, and like 300 women. So it was like no other guys there. And understandable, her audience is predominantly women, but we wanted to support her. we both bought her book and we went up to do like a photo op where she was going to sign it and take a picture for us. And I dropped my book and I'm kicking my book all around. I picked it up the wrong way like a fucking idiot. And then in the picture, I have a hover hand. Like I'm not even touching her back. Like my hand is hovering over her shoulder because I was like, I don't want to touch you on your back or your waist. I don't want to be weird. And we have a picture of it.
You made it weird because of that.
I made it super weird, but that was embarrassing as hell.
I have the signed book behind me.
I wish I had the picture on my phone where I could show you, but I'm literally fumbling with my book during the picture, and she's a sweetheart, so she's not judging me really, but it's like, I know, Laurie. I understand.
Yeah, she had some good stuff, honestly. Yeah, she taught us some good stuff. The point of that book, by the way, is masterminds. And
yes.
It's called A Tribe Called Bliss, and it's all about how to set up a mastermind. We don't talk about masterminds as much as we used to, because we do them so consistently now. But if for anyone who has never done a mastermind before, I mean, get a group of growth-minded people together and that's what book club is every week. So book club might as well be a mastermind about certain books that we all just share ideas. I mean, it's just going to help you grow so much, think differently, improve your beliefs. Okay. So we got a couple more here. Next would be Steve.
We went to Arizona for a Brendan Burchard event, and we were able to interview somebody who is very successful. Alan had spoken with him, so Alan knew him a little bit. So we went to this, like, you had to go through like 3 gates to get to this guy's house in this gated community in Scottsdale, Arizona, overlooking the desert, a beautiful multi-million-dollar mansion. So we go, we interview him. This is the second time.
Just go out?
Yeah, my chair went out. It hasn't done that lately.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's getting a week.
And by the way,
again.
spoken with him makes it sound like hey, how are you, Steve? I spoke on stage with him.
Well, it wasn't a stage, so I can't say that.
Okay. I spoke in a hotel with him.
You spoke with him?
At an event.
I would say talked to him if you just talked to him, but you spoke together.
Okay.
Presented.
Put some respect on it, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That was a solid event.
I was there. I supported you. I supported your ass long before I knew what this was going to be.
I thought that speech went pretty well, all things considered.
I don't remember.
It's fitness.
I don't remember. But we interview this gentleman at his mansion overlooking Scottsdale, Arizona. He's got an infinity pool. Beautiful. Just a beautiful house. Amazing interview. He makes us filet mignon. We're almost late for our flight home. It's like, oh, this was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alan connects with him, and Alan gets him to the point where he's ready to start a podcast. And we're going to do it. We're going to do the production. Cool. Love it. So him and I go back and forth on emails, and I'm like, yeah, what you're looking for is $1,500 a month. Get this, bada bing, bada boom, off to the races. What do you think? You're a millionaire. This shouldn't be a fucking issue. Sign on the dotted line. And he emails me back and says, what do you think about $1,000 per month? I'll pay you 3 months in advance. So I'll cut you a check right now for $3,000. And you can promote, so you can like sponsor the podcast. So I'll give you a shout out on the podcast. This podcast is produced by Next Level Podcast Solutions. I was like, nope, that ain't going to work. 1,500.
Keep in mind, at this stage, we had invested a lot of time crafting. I crafted the perfect messages.
I didn't understand.
I know. Kev didn't know.
I didn't understand.
Kev used to, back then, he used to think, well, someone's a multimillionaire. So I said, Kev, how do you think he became a multimillionaire? By giving away money?
What's 500 amongst friends, you know?
It's not 500. It's 500 a month forever.
Amongst friends.
And it's not about friends. It's business, goddammit. So, you waste money in business, you go out of business. And you've learned that since then.
He just stopped responding. Just didn't say no. We just stopped responding completely. And I messaged him like 5 times after. I've never heard from the man. He'll never respond.
For anyone out there who is a business owner, when someone offers you $3,000 up front and has a huge amount of influence in a very successful industry and offers to sponsor the show,
say no.
Say yes.
And ask for $500 more a month and see what happens. So yeah, I was very embarrassed. Haven't spoke to him since. And it was a great lesson. Unfortunately, I had to be the one to learn it, and that sucks. And it was very
And now you understand. If you waste money in business, you go out of business.
100%.
Okay.
10-minute warning here, so we got to pace.
Yeah, hammer. So what we have left is 6 Minute Mile, Dean Potato Cam, Amy Mall, and Justin.
Justin
Wren.
Oh, okay. What do you want to do?
Most of these are you.
I know. Well, it's because
I feel like I embarrass myself all the time.
yeah, but they're like micro ones, like the Next Level Fitness Accountability Group thing. It's like that's not that big of a deal, all things considered.
Yeah, fair. The point, by the way, just to reiterate, is when you are in momentum, you're gonna mess up constantly.
For sure.
Yeah.
You are. You're gonna break shit for sure.
And if you're constantly playing not to mess up, you're gonna lose momentum. You're not gonna take risks. You're not gonna move forward. You're not gonna make decisions. I this morning was feeling it. I said it's time to announce the 10-pound in 10-week challenge, and I fucked it up. But it's better than not announcing it.
Right. And we're still doing it, right? So it's all things considered, it's not the biggest deal. Okay. Biggest guest we probably ever had, I would say, and again, in terms of our space, Dean Graziosi. He is like A+ level guest in the self-improvement, business, personal development, speaking, all of that. We had just learned that you can use the camera I am using, which is a Sony A7 III, as a webcam. We didn't know that. That wasn't a thing. We didn't understand that was a thing you could do. So this was our first time ever doing it. So we log on to Zoom. Dean logs on to Zoom. And it literally looks like you are filming us with a potato. I mean, it was fucking terrible. Unusable.
It was bad.
Unusable video. And
imagine you're looking in goggles underwater, but the goggles are completely blurry.
Yeah, and drunk goggles. They might as well have been drunk goggles. Mm-hmm. And there's a moment where Dean logs on. He's like, okay, this is a waste of time. How did this get through? How did this get on my calendar today? Luckily, it went really well. But that moment of like, hey, I know it looks like shit. We messed something up, but we promise this is going to be hopefully a valuable interview. That was terrible. I mean, I did so much research. I also fucked up the intro. For some reason, I can't say New York Times best-selling author. I don't know how to say it when somebody's standing in front of me. So I also fucked up the intro for that as well.
Yeah, it's so cool to look back. I know we got to go here in a second, but
terrible.
Kev, you'd be fine now. You were so embarrassed around. Back in the day, you used to have this weird thing about certain people that were really successful. Like, because he had what, a $15 million house or something at that time that he just got a newborn. Kev, and I want to share this with our listeners because I've met so many millionaires and one billionaire on this journey, and I know them, some of them pretty well, some of them deeply well. They are just people, and they're not as amazing as you think. They're really, 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 really good, usually in one area, and alarmingly bad in a lot of the other ones. So just don't, Kev, you used to have a little bit of this, for sure. Inferiority complex, imposter syndrome, whatever it is, and now you don't, I don't think, nearly as much. If anything, you've been shocked at how incompetent they actually are. Because I remember telling Kev, like, dude, that dude doesn't know what you think he knows. He's like, what do you mean? I'm telling you, he got more lucky than you think. Okay. So 6 Minute Mile. I'll tell this one.
Yeah.
Kev and I are in the gym back in the deep fitness days. I mean, you and I were just getting after it. And Kev's like, dude, I could fucking run a 6 minute mile. I was like, no chance. No chance. Let's do it. Let's do it. We had just worked out and we did legs, I'm pretty sure, for an hour and a half. Back in those days, we weren't doing as much business. We were doing a lot of lifting. So we're an hour and a half in the gym. It's like 8 a.m. or something. And it's freezing cold, rain. Yeah. And we go to the WPI track in Worcester. And this is a nice track. My Uncle Merle is actually Norcross Field, named after that track. This is where I went to college. Set the timer up. Kev's like, let's fucking do this, man. I'm athletic as hell, son. He obviously didn't say any of that. And the dude... I ran a 6:17 and we were hammering with everything we had. A couple athletic guys, and Kev could not survive. No. I caught him dead at the end of the third lap, and he was on the ground dying.
It's brutal.
What's your take?
It was very humbling and it was embarrassing because I said with such confidence that I would be able to do it. But I think, again, if there's any lesson...
What do you think you could run now?
Nothing. Zero. No way. I don't know. I haven't run in so long. I don't know.
8?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Probably. I know I could probably squat 365 pounds, so that's what I'm playing for right now.
Nice.
In a cut, that's pretty good. I think that the level of embarrassment is directly connected to how confident you feel in something. So when it comes to like physicality, I wasn't nearly as embarrassed as maybe some of the other stuff because I do feel like capable. I just wasn't as capable as I thought. But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing for sure.
All right, we got two more. Amy Mall and Justin Wren.
First big interview I ever got, like long before I ever should have gotten it, was this guy named Justin Wren. Justin Wren had been on Joe Rogan. He was a professional mixed martial arts fighter, and he did this thing where he was partnered with this company that would go to the Congo to build water wells for pygmy villages. And I was like, holy shit, this is cool. He posted on his Instagram that he was going to be doing podcast interviews. Nobody had podcasts really in 2017, so I reached out. I was like, I'd love to interview you. Somehow I made it through, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Nice. What was this, episode 3 or something?
I think this was going to be episode like 7, I think. So I did the interview over phone recorder because this was 2017. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And his Wi-Fi was brutal. And I was like, I'll probably be able to fix it. I tried to fix it. I couldn't fix it. I mean, this was a world-class interview. This was a 10 out of 10. I crushed it. He crushed it. It was
listened to it. I could
Yeah.
hear your questions, but I couldn't hear him.
I sent it to you. I was like, dude, you think we could, is this fixable? I sent it out to someone. I paid like a couple $100, I think, to try to get it fixed. Couldn't get it fixed. I ended up reaching back out and they ghosted me. They wouldn't respond. They wouldn't respond to the request to do another interview. And I felt so dejected. I was like, oh my goodness, this is never going to work. I just dropped the ball on the biggest thing ever. I'm super fucking embarrassed. It was terrible.
What do you understand now that you didn't back then?
I mean,
dude, you'd never let that happen this time.
Yeah,
this
it doesn't.
Time you'd have standards, and you'd say,
It doesn't
hey,
matter.
Can you have good Wi-Fi?
It was the first. I mean, talk about momentum. I was on the road for work. I did this from a hotel room. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't do enough research. I didn't do enough research.
And I think that if you got on the phone and they had bad Wi-Fi, you'd say, hey, you have standards now. It's so different than it used to be, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's awesome. And we didn't have StreamYard. We didn't have these microphones. You didn't have cameras. It wasn't on YouTube.
No,
it was the early days.
This was recorded on my fucking cell phone. Cell phone recorder. I recorded the call with a cell phone recorder. That was it.
And this is before Kevin and I teamed up. I need to make that clear. All right, Amy Mall. Last one.
Amy Mall. Okay, so we had a team member. This was before she was a team member. Many of you might know Amy, not Amy L on the team, but previous Amy. She reached out to me before she was on the team. Like, she was a listener and she was a really strong community member. Like, she was really big in the community.
She was my EA for a time.
She was Alan's EA for a time. She said, hey, I'm struggling at school because I just feel like an outsider and I don't know how to start conversations with people. And I said, all right, well, let's go to the mall and we'll start conversations with strangers. And she's like, all right, cool. So we meet at the mall. And I actually live like 15 minutes from this mall to this day. It's like right down the street.
No shit.
Yeah. And we go and we get coffee. I need a little liquid courage. Let me caffeinate. And we go to a store where they sell these giant beanbag chairs. And I say,
I were so big on Dunks back then.
It was Starbucks.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, I
got
got
Starbucks. I
Starbucks.
always used to get Dunks.
It was cheap. And I felt like Starbucks was too good for me. It's like, I'm not that type of person. I like Starbucks now. It's just expensive as all hell. We go to the store that sells these beanbag chairs. And I say, Amy, all you got to do, go up to the front desk and ask them how much the beanbag chairs cost. And she's like, no, what if I said, no, I don't know who's buying these fucking things. They're probably not having many conversations. They're going to be excited to have a conversation. It'll pass the time. We got this. I was so embarrassed that day. Just like walking from store to store, kind of trying to pour belief.
Because you were trying not to talk yourself off the ledge.
I didn't want to go.
You were like, all 4 of my tires were slashed.
Yeah, like, what excuse can I use that I won't have to do this? I was super nervous.
You Snapchatted me that day. Like, I don't want to go. I probably said something. Just fucking do it, man. You got
I don't remember what you said. I know I definitely didn't want to go.
That was back in the days when you borrowed belief. Dude, isn't it weird to think back on this stuff? Dude, how hard would that be for you now? That would be a joke now.
It would be much easier, but
I just gave a speech on a whim to, $50,000 per year mastermind people. It's such a different world later on. The compound effect is really something powerful. That's 8 years ago. 8 years ago, we weren't capable of what we now make look easy. It's so important to understand that. Everyone that you look up to, probably at one point was like struggling with these simple things.
They definitely were. They definitely were struggling with these simple things. And it was a really good lesson for me of somebody else borrowing my belief. That was the thing. You're willing to do more embarrassing things for other people than you're willing to do for yourself. If you take nothing else from this, that is a huge thing. We are more likely to do something for somebody else than we are ourselves, especially if it's embarrassing or uncomfortable. I wouldn't have done that for me. The reason I did that was for Amy. And I wanted to shield her from as much embarrassment as possible. And it went really, really well. Ended up having conversations with strangers, food court. We rented these mechanical zoo animals. You could ride around the mall. We did that. I have it on video. And then Amy came on the team and literally won one of our rejection contests where we were selling tickets to something. And it was whoever gets the most rejections gets a $100 Amazon gift card or something. She got rejected more than anybody else.
So somebody who school, she got dean's list.
So many things.
Yeah.
Based on that. But she had to work through embarrassment together with me, and that was something that was super beneficial.
Let's wrap this up because I got to jump to my therapy session. Let's wrap it in a bow, both of us. What's your main takeaway? Because I don't want to just tell 10 stories and not have something really of value.
If you want to get momentum, you are this is it. Anytime you're doing something beyond what you're currently capable of, there is an opportunity that you're going to mess it up royally, and there is an opportunity that there will be embarrassment there. But if you keep going, you'll get that level, and then you'll get to the next level, and the same thing's going to happen. I don't know if it's ever really anything you can avoid. It's just something we have to become better friends with.
I remember way back in the day, I saw a magazine, and I used to love the show Friends, and Jennifer Aniston was like my teenage crush. I was a teenager, and she was my crush. And I remember I saw a really unflattering photo in one of the magazines of her. I remember thinking, how does she deal with everyone taking photos of her that are so unflattering? And I remember thinking, how does she deal with it? How is she not insecure? You just exposure therapy. And now I feel, and again, I'm not by any means famous or anything like that. Not at that level, not even close. But my point is I now know there have been a lot of unflattering things put online of me. I don't know if I give a shit as much as I used to. I think it is what it is. But when I was a kid and I was insecure about being tall and lanky and prepubescent, I couldn't get girls to look at me. I remember thinking, how does she deal with that? And now I know. It's exposure over time. She's been an actress at that point for 15, 20, 30 years. And the long term is, if you take nothing else from this, that's only 8 years. We still got a long ways to go. We're still pretty young, all things considered. And those are only 10. We have 100 more embarrassing moments. You put something on social media, you say something wrong, you spell something wrong, you look stupid. I posted something recently that looks like I don't have any shins. At the end of the day, you just got to fail forward. We used to talk about that all the time back in the day. You got to fail forward, and embarrassment hopefully drives you. It drives me. I got more motivated after that training. And I went back to the drawing board and I tried to figure out what we did wrong. And now we have hook, story, lesson, future pace, all this stuff. So every time you get knocked on your ass, you get up smarter and stronger and faster each time. And you can accomplish such amazing things long term.
And we have 1,000 more embarrassing, way more than that. We have millions of embarrassments to come. It's just at a different level in a different way, and we'll have a different response and relationship to them, hopefully. All right, cool. All right, Next Level Nation, if you are looking for a group of amazing humans who are on this journey with you so they know what it's like to be embarrassed as they try to build momentum, sometimes out of control, join our private Facebook group. We'll have the link in the show notes and below.
And if you want to join the 10-pound and 10-week challenge, DM Kevin or myself on Instagram, email us, alan@nextleveluniverse.com or kevin@nextleveluniverse.com. We'll put you in there. And the start date is May 29th, 2025. The end date is August 7th, 2025, even though I originally butchered that.
Strong work. All right, cool. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.